What's up, guys? Today we're gonna talk about the comparisons between my new F450 King Ranch and my old 2020 F350 single rear wheel. The King Ranch is a 2021, so I'm gonna go through the differences with you between the trim packages and like the difference between the 350 single rear wheel dually and 450. So they pretty much look the same. Here's a picture of my old 2020 Limited. This is a 2020 F450. You can see the front ends are identical. The only difference is the Limited, instead of having the chrome bumper here, you have the blacked out front bumper. This truck here has the King Ranch Ultimate package, so it has the LED headlights just like on the Limited, and it also has the LED fog lights. The only major difference between the two, this truck here is pretty loaded, but the only two major differences I can tell between the Limited and the King Ranch is the Limited has I'm not going to say they're a whole lot more comfortable, but they are slightly more comfortable seats inside. And then the kick panel on the inside here lights up on the Limited. Instead of saying King Ranch like this, it actually has Limited, and it lights up blue. So that's the only two differences. And then the Limited, the inside is a black and a white rather than a tan. So before we get into the inside, I'll go around and sort of tell you the differences between the 350 single rear wheel, the 350 dually, and the 450. So this here's a 450. The biggest difference between the 350 dualies and the 450 is the front end actually has a wider front axle housing, so it's I believe it's a foot overall longer. I think it's 6 inches on each side, or maybe it's 3 inches each side, maybe it's 6 inches longer, but regardless, the front axle is wider, so that allows you to turn a lot sharper, and it is very noticeable. Yesterday I pulled out of where I work at and had to make a hard right turn to miss a curb, and I got another turn and about a turn and a quarter out of it compared to my old truck. It was the same thing. It wasn't a dually, but it was the same wheelbase. So another difference between the 450 dualies and the 350 dualies is that front axle actually has a 7,000 pound rating rather than a 6,000 pound rating. And that affects towing because you have more braking power. The brakes on the front and the rear are both bigger on the 450 compared to the 350. Now the suspension on the rear is identical between the 350 and the 450s. The front's heavier on the 450s, but the rear springs are identical. You got your 4 leaves with your 1 helper. So really that's the only difference between the two, is the wide front axle and the bigger brakes. So like I said, this is the King Ranch Ultimate package, and from what I can tell, the way you can tell is it has the silver, what's actually aluminum, I think it's polished aluminum on the back, whereas the non-Ultimate package King Ranch is just say King Ranch down on the other opposite end over in there. So that tells you the difference between the Ultimate package and the non-Ultimate package King Ranches. All the 450s come standard with your 5th wheel prep kit, and then you can also get the optional Ultimate camper package, hauling package. It has the 2 bars, and it also has the bottom camera hook up there. And you can also get, with the 450s, a lot of them have an option of I believe it's a 38,500 pound 5th wheel. Don't quote me on that, but I believe that's what the weight rating is. I actually didn't get the 5th wheel. Right now I only pull gooseneck, or not the Ultimate camper package, that's the Ultimate gooseneck package I was talking about. It has the 2 bars on the side, and it has a 2-inch or 3-inch ball and a 2 5/16 inch ball on the inside. There's a picture of it right here. And then, like I was talking about the 5th wheels, I don't tow 5th wheels currently, but we are looking at maybe getting a toy hauler down the road. That's the main reason we went with the 450 versus the 350. Besides, there was actually no availability. I wanted a black 350, and there wasn't any around it that was trimmed similar to the Limited I had. So that's why we went with the 350. You can, another thing on the back I forgot about, the 350s also, or the King Ranch Ultimates also have your LED taillights in the back, just like the Limiteds and the Platinums. So all the 350 or 450s, regardless of trim, have these nice 19.5-inch Alcoa wheels. That is a difference between the 350s and the 450s also, I forgot to mention. And that's where your load rating comes from, partially is the wheels. With the 19.5 wheels, you can haul a lot more. So let's, while we're on that subject, we'll talk about it. So the 350 single rear wheel, you're allowed to tow, depending on trim, roughly 21,000 pounds. And if you have a heavy spec one, like I did with the 20-inch wheels, you're allowed to haul 12,400 pounds. And if you don't have the 20-inch wheels, I believe it's 11,200 pounds, but you'd have to check on that to be sure. I had the 20-inch wheels, so I was 12.4. And the issue we was running into wasn't necessarily the towing capacity, because the toy hauler we were looking at only had a gross weight of 21,000 pounds, or 20,000 pounds. It was actually the hitch weight. We calculated our cargo weight, and we was going to be at like probably 13,000 pounds. Now you probably could run it like that, but I was afraid of warranty issues and getting stopped by DOT or something along those lines. Now the F350 dually puts you up around 32,000 gross weight, total combined weight, or total single vehicular weight of just the truck. You're allowed 14,000 pounds gross. So that puts you up around 1,600 pounds heavier than the single rear wheel with the 20-inch wheels. And the dually, believe it or not, or the 450, believe it or not, is actually the same as far as the vehicle goes. You're still only allowed 14,000 pounds on the vehicle, but it's the towing, because of that heavier front axle and the bigger brakes is where the big difference is. So let's talk about the towing capacities. I'm going to talk about a gooseneck here. The goosenecks and fifth wheels. So on a single rear wheel, like I said, it's roughly around 21,000 pounds. That's what I used to have. A 350 dually, you're allowed around roughly 30 to 31,000, depending on how your truck's spec'd, with rear end ratios and stuff. Now you will need a CDL once your combined gross vehicle weight goes over 26,000 pounds. There is, depending on the state, a loophole for campers. It depends on which state you're in. So now we'll talk about some gear ratios here. The dualies come in 355s, and 410 gear ratios. The 355s you won't be able to tow as much, but you'll get a little bit better fuel mileage. The 350 single rear wheel you can get in, I believe it's 323. It's in the 331, I think. 331 to 1, 355 to 1. Same deal. The lower the ratio, the lower the number, so the 331s gets better fuel mileage, but you can't tow as much, and they don't have as much output torque on the wheels. But they will go at a lower RPM going down the road. For instance, my old Limited had 355s in it. At 70 mile an hour, I was sitting about 1,550 RPM, and I'd see about, I'm up in Pennsylvania here, I'd see about 19.5 miles per gallon on the highway, and I'd see about 13.5, 14 miles to the gallon around town. Now I only got about 100 miles on this thing yet, so I'm not really sure exactly what the fuel mileage is going to be, but the 450s actually only have one gear ratio available. They're 430s, so it is drastically going to cut my fuel mileage, I think. I'm guessing by probably, I don't know, 20-30%, but it does have a lot more torque. I haven't had it hooked up to a trailer yet, but if you get in this thing, it throws you back in a seat way harder. What I was seeing, I bought this thing about 80 miles west of here out in Ohio. I'm right on the Pennsylvania-Ohio line. Coming across the turnpike, I was seeing on a gauge in the dash, I was seeing it was bouncing between 14 and 15 miles per gallon. It would go up, down, up, down. It just depended on the hills, but I never went below 14 across the turnpike. And then I reset it when I got back to see what my local fuel economy is, and I believe it's showing like 12.1, 12.2. I put about 30 miles on around here. I just got this truck 2 days ago, but that's what it's looking like. I'm going to see about 15 on the highway and about 11, 12 around town, I would say. And that's what some of the forums online was saying also. But as far, another feature that the Ultimate package has is it has the LED headlights are automatic. So when you come up on someone, it automatically dims them down to low beam, which is nice. It also has this truck here also has the adaptive cruise control, which is nice. That was a feature I was looking for when we was looking for trucks. So basically what that is, when you're driving down the highway, you set your cruise at 75 and you're coming through a bunch of traffic and traffic's only rolling at 65. It'll automatically slow you down to 65 and maintain a safe distance, which you can adjust in the truck until you get a clearing, and then it'll automatically accelerate by itself. And when it's slowing down, it'll turn the engine brake and everything on by itself, which is kind of neat. And it all works off of this camera here. And that's actually a washer that comes out when you hit your windshield washer, and it sprays that camera off, which is kind of cool. But we'll go ahead and get inside and check out some of the features on the inside here. So all your King Ranches are going to have this brown interior. Myself personally, it fits me better because I work on houses and I'm a mechanic, so I'm always dirty. So the brown hides the dirt better than the white did. And I also like these real pretty wood paneling rather than the Limited's black wood paneling. I think these are a little sharper myself, but that's a matter of opinion. You got your King Ranch emblem on the floor, King Ranch emblem in the middle. There's a King Ranch emblem on each seat. And then there's also this nice one here. The Limited actually didn't have anything there. The detail on this, I believe, is a little bit better. But like I said, the leather is slightly harder. So in my opinion, the Limited is just slightly more comfortable, but it's not enough to not make the decision to buy a King Ranch. King Ranches, I believe they all have the underseat storage, and this also folds down. It's stuck on that seat over there, but this actually collapses in on itself, and you can have a full rear seat here. You got your 110 outlet in the back. You got your micro USB and your regular USB. This truck here is spec'd out for heated seats. I actually just got this off the lot. And then you got your phone charger port right here, pocket storage. You got your storage jack under here. Your power inverter's over there under the passenger's rear seat. It's 400 watt power inverter that runs your 210. I think they're actually 100 volt they advertise them at, but they run my laptop no problem with 400 watts. So we'll go ahead and get inside and see what else we got here. The center console from Ollie's on, I believe, XLT up, as long as it has a center console and not the fold down seat with nothing in the middle here. It's got these tons of metal storage here. You can fit all kinds of things in there. You got, go ahead and sit down on the side here. This particular truck, and I think it's on all the Ultimate King Ranches packages, has, you got your adjustable pedals, and then this also has a button where you press it, it'll drop the tailgate by itself. I think I was too late. Oh, you caught it there. So, this truck has lights under the mirrors. It's got to be started to do that, or at least an accessory. Go ahead and start it up there. Got your lights under the mirrors there. Must be have to be in drive. Huh, I'm not sure. Oh, the headlights have to be on. There you go. It's hard to tell, but there's headlights under the mirror. This truck, now this is a rumor. I actually didn't know this until we started looking at the King Ranches. A nice feature of the Limited in 2020 was they had what they call multi-contour seat, and for slang, that's the massaging seats. So all the King Ranch and Platinum Ultimate packages has the massaging seats. So there's two ways to turn it on. You can go into settings, scroll clear over to the right, seats, and then you got your adjusts your lumbar and stuff, and then your massage, you just turn it on. It's got your top and your bottom, you can turn off and on. And the other way to turn it on is actually right here in the middle. The way to top, it's got massaging seats. If it has this thing right here in the middle, it has massaging seats. You can turn it on and off right there too. So let's talk about some of the features. The only thing really different from 2020 is you can use the camera going down the road. I actually took a picture of that, or a video of this earlier to show you. So you can just press the button and it brings it up. That way you can check your cargo in the back. And if you had the accessory camera for on the trailer, you can press it again. I don't have it hooked up. And you could actually set that camera in your bed if you wanted to, like you saw on the first mode. Mine had a toolbox in there, so you can't see real well, so you could set that second camera in the bed so you could see the whole inside of the bed. You weren't able to do this on the 2021s. If you pressed that on the 2020s, I mean, this was unlocked on only the 2021s. If you pressed it in my old truck, it would just bring up an error that says like a safety error, can't be using while vehicle is in motion or something like that. I forget exactly what it said. So the Ultimate package, we got your heated steering wheel, heated seats, cooled ventilated seats they call them now. I don't think there's an AC compressor on them anymore. You got your, I believe this is an addition, this is your Pro backup, which honestly, I had one on my 2020. I never used it, but I'm actually a truck driver too, also. So I just found it easier to control the vehicle yourself. This here, pull that out, you got more storage. And then a lot of people don't know this, there's a spot in here for your key fob. You can, as long as both keys are in here, you can change your key fob settings in there. And then this also doubles as a, turn into 4 cup holders. Nice. In the back, you got your cup holders. I can't do it from here, I'll have to show you on the outside, but in the back, you gotta fold down the seat by pulling up on this strap right here. In the back, this folds down, gives you 2 cup holders. And then you also got 2 more cup holders right there, which is nice. The King Ranch, I think maybe all the King Ranches, but for sure the Ultimate package has these automatic floorboards, running boards. I like this also being a mechanic. This is black rather than on the Limited or white. My Limited was always dirty. I was always cleaning it. So if your profession is something that's dirty, not even necessarily dirty, but you're around dirt all the time, you might make that something you need is the dark one, and you can only get that, I believe, in the King Ranch. You might be able to get it in the Platinum. I'm not sure on that, but for sure the Limited is white. So we was talking about these cameras earlier. This is a nice cool feature on I think 2019 or 2020 and up. It actually has a 360 view camera of the truck. And how they do that, there's cameras in the front, and then you got 2 cameras on each mirror here. They're on the bottom of the mirror on that little housing there that points out, and that gives you your 360 view. This is your backup view, and then you can go through and toggle through. This is the front bumper. This is your front bumper the whole way around. So you got your 2 corner lights, and then that one in the center that is also your adaptive cruise control. This is your cargo. Then you also got that's the plug in the bed I was talking about. I don't have anything hooked up to it right now, but you got, it's the camera that's supposed to go on the back of a trailer, but you can actually put that in your bed. If you look here, you can't see very much in my bed because of my toolbox. So if you have something like a tonneau cover or a toolbox and you can't see hooking up to a gooseneck or to your fifth wheel, you can mount that camera back there somewhere, and it'll give you basically another camera in your bed so you can see hooking up. So went back to home here. The rest of this is pretty much standard on all of the anything with this. I think these are 8-inch screens. So you got your audio here. These do have Apple Play too, but to use it you actually have to plug them in. So you got to plug them into your either your USB or micro USB to use Apple Play. Oh, another feature of 2020 and up, they all have wireless charging. That's regardless of trim. They all have, if it has a center console, it has wireless charging in it. Another nice feature of 2020 and up, AT&T has a they call it a in-vehicle hotspot, and it's actually very reasonable if you travel a lot or you're using your computer a lot in the truck. It's only $20 a month unlimited data, which is nice. They do start to slow your data down once you get over a certain point, but it's a lot. It's like up around 20 or something. You got your climate control in here, so you can control your heated steering wheel here also. That's one feature I don't like about the Fords. I used to have a Chevy before I had my last truck. There was actually a button here for your heated steering wheel, and in order to shut this heating steering wheel off, like let's say you're in a navigation app, you have to go, oh, even though the steering wheel's here, well I guess you can on this one. My old one wasn't like that. So you're in here, you can press the steering wheel and then shut it off, I guess. My old truck wasn't like that. Actually this one isn't either. So let's say you're in audio. Oh yeah, it is. Yeah, they changed that this year, which is nice. Got your rear defrosters, heated seats you turn on down here, cooled seats, and there's pretty much everything up here you can do down here between these two. All the 450s come with automatic brake controller, which is nice. One thing I will say about it, a lot of guys think they're not working. The brake controllers on the Fords are actually very smart. When I got my last truck, that 350 Limited, I hated the brake controller until I figured out what it did. Somehow it senses how fast you're going and how much weight you're hauling, and it just gives you just enough braking power so you don't drag your wheels, unless you got it jacked like way up. Like say you only need power of 3 max. If you got up to 10, it might slide a wheel every once in a while, but for the most part you'll never slide a wheel with one of these. So I talked about the automatic foot control and all that. Another nice feature of these Fords, the top upper trim Fords, is it's got memory recall with your key fob. So you each get each truck has 2 key fobs, and this changes between the 2 key fobs. So say on, we'll call it key fob number 1, you have level 1 set with the steering wheel up, seat way in, your pedals way out. It'll automatically recall that whenever you open a door. Now if you get in with key fob number 2, it won't. You got to save level 1 as something, adjust it to where it was. So basically what it is say you have a wife or someone that's driving your truck and she has the other key fob, it'll automatically recall her settings as long as she gets in the truck with that key fob, which is a nice feature. This truck has the protruding mirrors, and what's nice about these over the GMs is you can actually stop them anywhere. The GMs are either out or in. I seriously considered a GMC before we bought that 2020. And then you can fold the mirrors in. Another nice thing about these, see I'm showing 12 miles of the gallon right there, is over in advanced settings, you can make it so the mirrors auto fold. Easy entry and exit means the steering wheel comes up and goes back down every time you shut the truck off. I don't like that. I think it's too much wear and tear on the motor and the steering wheel. but you can go in mirrors and it'll auto fold also, but I have them shut off also. Like I said, I think that stuff's just extra wear and tear. There's a lot of settings in here you can change. I'm not really sure what neutral toe is. I haven't figured that out yet. That's something new. My old truck didn't have that. Then you got, this tells you your like side to side roll and front and forward, I don't know what you would call it, up and down. Like if your front's up in the air, it'll tell you, and it also tells you how far your steering wheel's turned also in off-road mode. And that's on all of them. You don't have to have an off-road package. My last truck was just a 4x4 and it had it. It wasn't no FX4 or anything like that. This is kind of nice here, and I can't get into it because I'm not hooked up to a trailer, but it'll actually do a light check and everything. And it one of my goosenecks has actually got a faulty, it had a faulty breakaway switch. It picked up on that and said there was a fault in the trailer, and we figured it out. It was the brake control switch. You can go through, see your diesel exhaust fluid, speedometer. And another cool thing about the trailer, when you have a trailer hooked up, it'll tell you how many miles you have on the truck with a trailer, which is cool. My last truck, I had about 50% miles with a trailer. There's something else in here I was going to show you guys real cool. Oh, diesel exhaust fluid gauge. It'll show you how many miles, and that's based on the current fuel economy too, how many miles of diesel exhaust fluid you have left. You can, this is cool too. It'll tell you your fuel economy over like the last 30 minutes. And this is your my view. You can adjust these in the, right here, configure my view screens. Or no, it's in advanced settings, I believe. Yeah, right there, add or remove screens. You just go through and pick it. So I'm actually gonna add one here. I wanna add the speedometer, digital speedometer. Add that. You'll see it's up or down. See right there. Now, one thing nice about this digital speedometer, it's not showing up now because I'm not driving, but it actually shows you the current speed limit as you're driving down the road, which is very nice. Another thing new to 2020, not 2021, but 2020 over 2019, is it has eco mode. My camera's out of focus. It has eco mode, and that's the leaf there. It's actually got 5 different modes. So you got eco mode, slippery, deep snow, sand. It's just prompting you. It's recommended to have the 4-wheel drive in deep snow and sand. You got normal driving mode and then tow haul. I normally drive around in eco mode unless I'm pulling a trailer. And if I'm not heavy, I just drive around in normal mode. And if it's real heavy, then I do put it in tow haul. The engine brakes on, I will say that about the engine brakes. On the 355 I had, it used to like to downshift like really fast, and because the gear spans was so high, it would shoot from like 1200 up to like 3800 RPM like within about 4 seconds if he was on a steep grade. This truck's not as sensitive to that, but one thing I used to do in my old truck, and I haven't pulled a trailer yet to see if I got to do it in this one, but I used to put it in manual mode, which we're not moving. I used to put it in manual mode, and then you got your paddle shifters here. I used to just manually downshift and try. I used to try and keep it between like 2000 maximum 2500. I just think once you get past that, it's a little high for the engine, especially whenever you have back compression going against it. These forks here, got some storage here, and then you got your glove box storage, owner's manual thing. You can shut your passenger airbag off right there. You do that, your key fob actually comes apart, so I'll show you how to do that real quick. And you put that in the passenger airbag, and this actually works a few things in the truck. So you push this button and pull, you got your key, so that'll go in. You can lock your dashboard here, your glove box I mean, And it also unlocks your spare tire. Tailgate's down from when I pressed that button before. You can also unlock with this key your spare tire holder. As you put this in, and this comes out, and you can stick your tool when you're under the seat in there to get you lower your spare tire. That way no one can steal your spare tire. Well, they can still steal it, I guess, but not easily. I'll show you the cameras on the truck. You got the one that's your bed camera. You got your backup camera here. One thing I wish they would let you do is use that backup camera going down the road. It would be nice if you're pulling a tag-along trailer to just check your cargo. But like I said, you can't use any of those cameras going down the road on the 2020 models. That's new this year. This is your side angle camera that lets you do your 360 view. And then this is your front camera here. So that's your 350 or 450 in a nutshell. Now, one thing I will talk about price here. I learned this actually when I bought this truck. Number one, you can get which it wasn't an important feature to me, but my wife really liked the massaging seats on my old truck. You can actually get that from the King Ranch up when you buy the Ultimate package. So the King Ranch Ultimate package has the multi-contour seats, they call them, the massaging seats. Also has heated and cooled seats. The Lariat, you cannot get the multi-contour seats. You can only get, they have heated and ventilated seats, and you can get the rear heated seats in the Lariats, but you cannot get the multi-contour seats. So in order to get them, you have to have a King Ranch and up. Like when I bought this truck, when I was pulling in the lot to trade my old truck in, I thought it was my truck. I saw a limited spec exactly like this. The only thing, like I said, it had that this one didn't, was it didn't have the lighted kick panels when you open the door that says limited, and the leather is a little more soft than the limited. That if you can deal with those two things, you're going to save about $5,000. Another thing that a lot of these trucks have is these upfitter switches. It's six switches. It's already from the factory wired through a relay, and there's different amperage relays available for each, not each switch, but what I'm trying to say is each switch has a different amperage rating. I know they go up to 40, but I haven't actually pulled the fuse panel apart to see which is which. They're in the engine compartment here. Everyone's right inside. Inside. The wiring is actually in here also, I believe. I just haven't got that far yet. I'll deal with that later. So shoot me up in the comments there if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them if I know the answer to them.